Hello, my name is Bender, or Noble Bender. I haven't uploaded a video to YouTube in quite some time, but I decided, free will, why not? So let's get into this. And if you do like the video, please do like and subscribe. I'm going to be trying to upload at least once a week, and I do live stream. I switch between games, but I typically do live stream. And yeah, let's get into this. So I, as well as a lot of people, feel as though gaming is going in a wrong direction. Like, I've made TikToks and people don't seem to like what I said, because I showed the Outer Worlds 2, which is priced at $80. As you can see here, base edition of the game, not even the deluxe edition, for $80. And it's not just that game. There's actually a few other games as well, mainly Nintendo games. And I'll show you these right here. As you can see, some of these games are more expensive than they should be. As you saw with Breath of the Wild, a game that came out when the original Nintendo Switch launched, they have never once put that game on sale. At most, I think it was 10%. And we could see that they also increased the price of Tears of the Kingdom, which it feels wrong. And I got something else I'm going to show you as well. This one is probably the biggest one for me as well. As you can see here, they are selling the Switch 2 copy of Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition for $70, compared to the $60 for a PS5 or Xbox Series console edition. And they are charging you more for a stripped down version of a game. That should be ringing alarm bells right now. Like, gaming originally wasn't supposed to be this super crazy expensive hobby. It's supposed to be a way to relax, a getaway. And with these prices going up like this is pushing a narrative for games to become more expensive, to push higher prices. And it's not just with Nintendo. Xbox is doing it too. PlayStation did raise their prices a few years ago, but I think it was a few weeks ago that they just lowered their prices back to what they were. And it's like, people want to try and defend this by saying, oh, it's free on Game Pass. Like, let me show you this. We have these people here saying it's free on Game Pass. I don't give a fuck. I'll beat it in a month and never touch it again. Game Pass for the win. And this mindset, I feel, is a little destructive. Like, just because something is quote-unquote free on Game Pass, that doesn't mean much. They're still pricing this game and these games at $80. Like, I'll say it, because it doesn't seem like a lot of people want to, but most games are not worth $80. Right? They are trying to push these higher prices, and if people give in and start paying $80 for games, that's going to make them think, oh, we could keep raising the prices. Yeah, they'll complain, but they'll still buy it anyway. And it's like, that's not a good thing. Raising prices is going to basically be the end of everything for gaming. Gaming isn't supposed to be a crazy expensive hobby. And these people want to defend it by, oh, it's free on this subscription or on this subscription. You're still paying a subscription. You don't own that game. There's no guarantee that even just a year from now, The Outer Worlds 2 is still going to be on Game Pass. And the guy that said, oh, it's free on Game Pass, I made a video response saying, that doesn't mean much. Owning your games will ultimately be better than, having it on a subscription that could be taken away at any time. And this is what he had to say to me. Calm down, Mayo-loving blank blank. Should have gotten Xbox. Who cares about owning an RPG? Once you beat it, you're done with the game. To call someone that just because you do not like what I have to say and because you don't have an actual argument is crazy work. Like, you just can't be doing that. You are not adding anything to the discussion. You are just being rude for no reason. All right? I understand I could come off as aggressive sometimes, and I try my best not to, and please don't go to my TikTok and start hating on these people. That's not gonna change anything. That's not a healthy discussion. Alright? But it's like, to say that, to do that, just because you don't like my point or my argument is wild. Like, here is a good point I think someone made, and I really do like this point of view. Foxy makes a good point. He says, my argument for Game Pass is you get to try the game for free, maybe forever, If it leaves Game Pass, you know whether or not you want to spend the money on it or not. If they take it off, you'll likely find it for sale, so cheaper than on release. That is a good point. That is a good argument that not many people will make. Like, I haven't seen anyone make those arguments. They just want to, belittle me or attack me from my point of view. Such as, because I'm about to show you another comment. This guy here, Ultra Dizzy, he says, hating on Game Pass is crazy, lol. Also thinking you still own games now? This isn't Xbox 360 anymore, digital or physical. We don't own games. And to that I say, yes we do. All the games I own, all my physical copies, you could still go back and play whenever. The full 1.0 version is still on there. And he says, if it's a single player only, multiplayer is completely gone, not to mention games that need updates and online require literally the same thing as owning digital, lol. And my point is, you still own your physical game. You could still play the 1.0 version of that game when it came out. And you should be educated on whether or not that game is online only or not when you buy the disc. Like Doom the Dark Ages, they could have put the full game on that disc, but instead they didn't. It's basically a key to download it off the internet. That is a good example of not exactly owning that game. But let me show you my game tower, because all these games that I have, you could play them even if servers go offline. Every single game that you were seeing right here is on the disc. The full game is on the disc. You could go back and play the 1.0 versions of these games whenever. Without online, you don't need to. Alright? Now, Cyberpunk probably being the one exception there, because that 1.0 version was not good at all, so you are going to need the online to update that. But all those games, you could play whenever. You don't need an online mode. Alright? Like, the Dark Souls series on there, that's probably the biggest one of those games on there that have the online mode. You don't need to play online to enjoy Dark Souls. Alright? You could still just load that game into your PlayStation and just play it. You don't need it to be like updated or anything. You could play that game 1.0 launch edition just fine. And it's like, saying you don't own your games, I feel like is just a bad mindset to have, because you do still own your games. Physical media at the end of the day is still going to be better than digital media. And buying games for $80 and a digital copy at that is pushing the industry more to be of we could just increase the prices and you not own the game and we could take this whenever. Companies cannot just bust into your house and take your discs or your cartridges. They can't do that. So I am being an activist, I guess would be the best way to put this, for physical media. I will always be pro physical media. If I could find a physical copy of the game or the full game's on the disc, I'm most likely going to buy that over the digital. Yes, the digital is convenient. Yes, it's very, very convenient, right? You don't need to change out a disc, it just installs right there. But you don't own that. You own a license to that. You own a key. And at any time, these companies, which are essentially the landlords for these keys, could kick you out. And you don't own that game anymore. Like PlayStation did something, I think it was last year, where they removed a bunch of stuff from people's libraries. Just that way they could, because licensing ran out pretty much. They removed, I think, here, let me go find the article and I'll show you. As you can see here from PlayStation.com, as of the 31st of December 2023, due to our content licensing agreements with providers, you will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased Discovery content, and the content will be removed from your video library. They are removing what you paid for. You don't own that when you buy it digitally. You just have a key, and you are being evicted. Alright, and that's not okay. When you buy something, you should own it. Unless, of course, you're in like a rental agreement, and that's basically what you're doing when you buy digital games. Physical media is the way to go. Buying games for $80 digital just to have it taken away at pretty much almost any time, or whenever that licensing runs out if it's not renewed. Like, a bunch of people were upset when, your Discovery content just gets removed from your library. Thousands of hours of content that you paid for is just gone. And I feel as though this is just not okay, and people seem to be fine with this. Like, let me show you some more comments that I just got. $80 isn't bad, and playing a game for free on Game Pass or PS Plus is always better than paying full price. You most likely won't play a game twice. If you do, then you could pay. And to me, that take just sounds out of touch or privileged. Not everyone has $80 to just be dropping on the newest games coming out. As I said, $60 was fine for most people, $70 was pushing it, and now $80 is becoming too much. So when are we gonna say enough is enough with this? And like with the Switch 2, everyone was mad about the prices, and yet it still sold like hotcakes. And this is showing these companies that, once again, they could price these games higher and higher and higher, and people will still buy them. Saying, oh, $80 isn't bad, feels like it's coming from a place of privilege. Just because you don't think $80 is bad doesn't mean that it isn't. And it's like, how can you say that when most people share a sentiment of prices are increasing, I can't afford this? Because prices are increasing, whether you like it or not, prices are still going up. Like, right now, I'm currently living in Washington. Prices here are crazy expensive. Tax here is insane. I bought a PlayStation 5 controller from my GameStop. It cost me almost $90 for a regular white PS5 controller. $85. $85 for a normal PS5 controller. When I went to go pick it up, it said $60 when I grabbed the box. And it's just these prices increasing, living costs increasing, gaming's gonna have to take a back burner. With $80 games, people shouldn't be buying games at $80. The only game that could maybe get away with this is gonna be GTA 6. And most games becoming $80 is not something that we want. Most indie games now are becoming more reasonably priced. Like, I've seen some indie games for $40, $50 on the PS Store. And those games have been phenomenal. Like, the best example is Clair Obscura Expedition 33. That is a $50 video game with beautiful story, graphics, it looks amazing, it is well put together, in combat. Basically changed how turn-based combat is. Being able to parry and dodge in real time in turn-based combat is a crazy system. I don't know why people haven't thought of that before, but that is such a good system. And it's just, when are we gonna say enough is enough? Alright, this is gonna be my closing statement for the video. When are we gonna say enough is enough? Games should not become $80. And we as consumers need to push back. We need to vote with our wallets and not buy these. If you want to buy it, sure, but I think most people should just wait for the game to go on sale. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you did watch all the way through, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be uploading more. But this is yeah, just prices are getting crazy.